So, driving a Mini across Tanzania sounds like a pretty mad prospect, right? But that's not actually the mad part. The mad part is how the Mini got to Tanzania in the first place. It was actually entered into the Africa Rally 2023 and driven by two British ladies from the UK who flew over to South Africa having never seen the vehicle before and decided to enter it in the rally. They did pretty well, made it to northern Tanzania, at which point they were struggling for spare parts for the Mini, and there was a compounding number of issues, primarily issues with the distributor, which simply meant the vehicle was undrivable. So unfortunately they didn't quite make it to the finish line around about 800 kilometers after that, which would have been in Mbita in western Kenya on Lake Victoria. Now, normally when a vehicle can't reach the finish line of the Africa Rally, we put them in touch with our logistics provider, Global Fixers, and they can help them actually recovering that vehicle to wherever it needs to be. That said though, when the ladies in Team Two Brits and a Mini reached out, I was in Nairobi. I was less than a day's drive from where the vehicle was, so I basically came up with a very rough plan. This was the plan as I recorded it at the time. So the rough plan is hitchhike or grab a bus to Tanzania, fix the Mini somehow, get to Dar es Salaam from Arusha somehow, hopefully before my flight in about a week's time. Why? Well, you can't just leave the old Mini stranded in the middle of nowhere. Although it doesn't make any sense financially or anything else, I still think it's the right thing to do. So the fuel pump was basically flooding the carb because it was running on overload, and without being able to find a mechanical fuel pump, we've basically built a gravity fed fuel system, which is a bit of a workaround. It would have been very nice to have a co-driver that could that could just use a sort of hand pump and make it a little bit safer, but failing that, we now have the fuel tank on the roof and a direct feed into the carburetor. Now, anyone that's travelled Africa will recognise these buses. Luckily, always happy to lend a hand, and they towed us on more than one occasion.
I think that went quite well.
Yeah.
So, quick update. Although I've been readjusting the timing in order to keep the Mini relatively happy and running, I think it's also picked up an air leak on one of the exhaust intake manifolds. I also think it's leaking fuel from the bottom of the carburetor as well. I think the gasket might have gone there. We're here at Rahim's place in Moshi. Genuinely couldn't have found a better person to help with the Mini today. Basically, in the space of the last 18 hours, we've done a full carb rebuild, a full cooling system rebuild. We've fixed the fuel system. As you'll notice, there's no tank on the roof anymore. We've also rebuilt the distributor from scratch upwards. We've made sure the engine's happy, it's idling nicely, it's not overheating, done a full oil change, and yeah, basically 18 hours later, couldn't be happier with the Mini. So if you do have a classic car in northern Tanzania, in the Arusha or Moshi area, do get in touch with the Africa Rally, because we know exactly who to point you towards. They say the proof's in the pudding, so let's find out. Purring like a kitten. So I'm not sure you can hear me over the beautiful rumble of the engine, but I thought I'd just record a message, because genuinely, I know I was picking him up earlier on, but without Raheem and his friends, this video would be called Towed Across Tanzania rather than rescuing the Mini, or whatever it is we're going to call it. I also just wanted to say that I had planned just to go a couple of kilometers down the road, rest for a while, and then head towards Dar es Salaam. But it's the perfect night to drive. There's not a cloud in the sky, and the moon is completely full, beautifully bright. It's making driving an absolute joy. So it was going so well, I had to go and jinx it by saying we were making good progress. You know that moment where you speak too soon? The Mini is now been working perfectly for about 620 kilometers, right up until the point that we cracked the seal at the bottom of the carburetor, so we lost compression again. Unfortunately, what that does mean is that it's once again undrivable, and the botched seal job I tried to do by the side of the road didn't take hold. So I've had a lovely afternoon sitting with a couple of members of Kenya's police force. They invited me for lunch, which was absolutely delicious. And then the guys from Old School Rides Tanzania were kind enough to lend us their recovery vehicle. So the Mini's now currently on the back of a custom classic car recovery truck, about 180 k's outside of Dar es Salaam, which means hopefully we should be there in time for some nice cold beers this afternoon. You may not have realised it, because you know how terrible I am with continuity, but I have now been wearing the same shirt for the last 2 days, so I am very much looking forward to a shower and a clean change of clothes after 48 hours on the road. See you in Dar es Salaam.
The Mini is here, safe and sound.
Yeah, wanted to genuinely rebuilt this car twice in 2 days. Upon reaching Dar es Salaam, we were helped out by George and the fantastic team at Old School Rides Tanzania. They're actually storing the Mini at the moment ahead of shipping, and we found some absolute gems that were hidden in their workplace. couldn't leave Tanzania though without saying hello to some of the classic car enthusiasts there, as I know it's such a passion within the country. So we found a bar, the Aviator, which actually wasn't due to open for another 3 weeks. We asked them very nicely, and they set up a braai for us. They allowed us to have a few cold beers, and importantly, they allowed us to meet up with other classic car enthusiasts who wanted to see the Mini and wanted to wish us all the best for the Africa Rally next year. I should make it very clear that having your vehicle personally recovered by me if you break down is definitely not included in the entrance fee, and unfortunately is not a service that we can offer as standard.